obviously talking about South Africa and our football as a whole. We're going to be recapping. A lot of big events have happened in recent times, and we're going to be starting off with the under 17s, of course. Heartbreaking, guys. Yeah, that was that was kind of hard to watch. Hello, everyone, and welcome to today's episode of the Corner Flag. And as you know, our episode is produced by Islo Studios, YZLOE. You can find them on Instagram, Facebook, man, whatever social media you use. And it's also shot by Pixelate, Pixilate. So it lays you up on everything that you need. If you're a media person, you do music, you're a photographer, podcaster, whatever, bro. We got you. Whatever you do, we got you. So we're going to be obviously talking about South Africa and our football as a whole. We're going to be recapping. A lot of big events have happened in recent times, and we're going to be starting off with the under 17s, of course. Heartbreaking, guys. Yeah, that was kind of hard to watch. So we stumbled at the last hurdle, 5-0 against Senegal. We always knew it was going to be a tough game, but we had hope in there somewhere that we might be able to be like put up a fight, but I guess it wasn't meant to be. But we're still proud of our boys. All things considered, I mean, they didn't even have any opportunities to play any friendly matches. It's a really new team. They've brought in a lot of new players as well. A lot of new players made their debut as well. We're obviously talking about your dokunmus, your Wayland Renegades as well in there. So it was really exciting to see those players, to see their quality and what it is that they can offer us. So that was really, really exciting. But it was to a large degree. You can tell that there is still a lot of frailties whenever it comes to like South African football. We still make a lot of the same mistakes, and let's just break them down a little bit and look at the players that really stood out in this tournament first of all. So the first one we're going to be talking about, of course, is Mabena. He's been our talisman. It was great to see the performances that he gave against Zambia and as well as Nigeria as well. We can see the confidence that he has, and the fact that he's a 16-year-old playing at the level that he's playing at is really, really incredible. Earned credit from the Nigerian coach as well, so that was really, really great to see. Scored a really, really good goal, beating like 3 defenders and putting it in the top corner as well against Nigeria. So it's great to see the type of quality that he has, but it's one thing that I think maybe the game against Senegal would have showed him with the 5-0 thrashing that we got, was that as much as you're a great player, what makes great players like Messi is as much as you can be good and you can shine and you can do individual things that make the team to win. It's always great that you can bring other players into your squad and make them shine as well. So if you're a Mabena and you know that you are the main player that your team is relying on, you need to make sure that your dokunmu shines as well, that your Makawana shines as well, which he did, but I just think he needs to do it on a more consistent basis. And once he can do that, it will help us when we're playing against teams like Senegal, where they have their own Messis in their own team. Don't get it wrong. They have their own great players as well, so they are able to play as a team, and that's the key difference sometimes. But it was a great performance from him all around, and we loved what he did. And we also saw Mkawana as well. I think he was like the key element that we were missing when we played against, I believe it was Zambia. We could see that in a lot of the times, we could play well as far as playing the ball and making combinations, but we didn't really have that killer instinct when it came to what we needed to do in the final third as far as scoring and converting those opportunities. So in the first game, I saw that Duncan Crowe, I think that's the one thing I'll credit him for. Whenever he sees mistakes, he's able to correct them. So he brought Makawana in there and he scored 3 goals. He scored 2 goals against Nigeria, or was it against Zambia? But it's 3 goals all in all in the tournament, and he's a 16-year-old. So it's really great to see that type of prowess in front of goal that we've been lacking in South Africa for the longest time. And it was great to see him getting 3 goals in this tournament. So I think if he gets the right type of nurturing the right type of mentoring, he'll definitely be a great player, especially if you're looking at the characteristics that he has. He's fast, he's strong, he's not really at a lost cause whenever he doesn't have or he's backed into a corner rather especially in the corner where he has to like beat one or two players to create an opportunity for his team. So he really made a good account of himself. So it was a great performance from him. We also saw Michael Dokunmu as well. He's the one who sealed the win for us of York, of course, against Namibia. Chose us over Nigeria, which is great. But he always proclaimed his love for South Africa, and it was great to see him and the performances that he can give, especially as far as profiling him, because you heard a lot about him, and he really wanted to represent us. So it was great to see what he can provide on the field. He's tall, really composed on the ball, can get himself out of trouble even when he's faced with 2 or 3 opponents at a time, can pick out a pass. As I said, Duncan Krawi can correct mistakes. So in the first 2 games, he was played more as a midfielder, where he's played at Vitesse, this club as well. But I think for South Africa, he's really more effective when you play him like up front, as more like a number 10 behind the striker, where we can make use of his intelligent touches, of course, as well as his intelligent passes. And if you can put him close to someone like Mabena and someone close to Amato, where they can combine and create opportunities for us, I think that would be a great use of his abilities. I think Lee also played great in the first game. I don't really understand why I didn't really get any opportunities after that, but I think putting him, Dokunmu and Mabena behind a striker like Mkawana would be a really good setup for us. So we have really good material as far as the under-17s go. We saw Amato as well, making an account of himself coming into the second game. A really complete midfielder, really provides us a lot going forward as far as offensive passing. He can hold on to the ball, doesn't really panic too much. Really intelligent as far as making right decisions. I think with players his age, you don't really see that type of maturity that he has as far as making the right decisions, passing close to you and making combinations with players when you need to, clearing the ball, switching sides whenever he needs to. So it's great to see that we have that type of player, especially in the midfield, who is really complete and can provide us with that type of experience. And then we saw Waylon Reneke and our captain Wallace. These boys had a tough game. They had a really tough game against Senegal. Both of them gave us on goals in our 5-0 thrashing. But that's the pressure, of course, especially at that type of level and that type of opposition also. I don't think we should be too hard on them. When we watched the previous games, we could see how composed they are as far as playing the ball from the back, providing that height also that we don't have. I mean, as far as South African players, in all divisions, doesn't matter where we are, whether we're at under 17 or at senior level, we're always smaller than these West African countries and these Northern African countries. So these boys provide the height that our midfielders and our attackers lack. And it's great to see that we do have those type of players who can be physical in those games. So Reneke as well, prior to their own goals, and Wallace also, prior to their own goals, those were mistakes, but I think we should forgive them and we should give them a chance. I don't think we should definitely throw the towel on these boys. And Tyler Cicero as well, not the biggest player, but played a really good game in his wing back position. Provided a lot going forward as far as the passes go, but also a really good defender when he needs to, especially when you're playing against tough opposition where he needs to remember that he's a defender, especially as a wing back. He did really good. So I think with the under-17s we have some really good material, especially with that overseas players that they implemented, and we still have a wider pool, guys, because remember, you have your Lucas Chettins that went there, your Gabriano Sheltons that went there, your Buthelezis that went there. So we have a wide pool to choose from. So it's a really good starting point for us, and I think we have a bright future looking forward, especially with this young group of players. And yeah, so that's our under-17s. And then we're also talking about our under-23s as well. Yeah, so not the best result we had. Obviously we failed to qualify for the World Cup, failed to qualify for that one as well. Yeah, we could see from the beginning, especially with the selections and how everything went, that it was always going to be a tough one. But at least we got to see your Chalkers coming in and making their debuts at long last. Especially these players who are playing overseas and playing in England and Portugal and wherever it is that they're playing, and voicing their desire to play for South Africa. It's great to see some of them getting those opportunities. It would have really been great to see mailula in there. I stand with coach Hlongwane in that as well. I think with he is Bafana quality, don't get me wrong, but it would have been great to see him with like players closer to his age, where he would have had a bigger impact, especially with the lack of depth that the under-23 squad had. I mean, obviously you do have your Radio Panes in there, but I think it would have been great if he had mailula. It would have given them a bigger chance, especially with the confidence that he had. He would have had like the same effect that Mabena had for the under-17s, where, hey, cool, even if, you know, it gets a bit shaky, but there's somebody who is playing really, really well, playing for the biggest team in the country, and it can score, you know. So it's always great when you have a striker who can play like that. So it would have been great to see him, but you know, South Africa is not, you know, it's prone to making bad decisions, especially when we're talking at management level. So hopefully that's something that we can fix. Yeah. So yeah, we didn't qualify with those, and it's kind of a worrying situation, especially when we consider the fact that the under-23s has consistently been our strongest team. We've been playing in the Olympics, where we had the biggest outing in there. I mean, that's where we had our lylefoster. That's where we had Luther Singh back when he was in under-23. Of course, he was one of our brightest stars. That's where we had your kodisangs. That's where we had Taboteles. That's where we had this boy who played for Paris. I keep forgetting his name. I'm never really fond of him, but he played well. I can admit in the Tokyo Olympics he played really, really well. So it's really, really worrying, especially when Hlongwane left as well. It kind of alludes to the fact that in South Africa, especially at management level, there are some deeper problems in there, especially when we see our inability to organize friendlies before major tournaments, especially with these younger groups. But as we said, there is a wide pool of players who have expressed the interest to play for South Africa. Our Simon Van Deven Borens who are in there, who've always said, hey guys, please, hey, pick me, I'm here, you know. So it would have been great to see him and mailula in there, you know, to play for the under-23s. But I think these are like the learning curves that the people in power basically can, like, you know, take heed from and learn from. So yeah, hopefully in the future we can do a little bit better, and we can hopefully get like a former player. I think it would be great to get a former player to coach the under-23s, especially somebody who's played abroad as well, somebody who has good relationships and will be able to analyze and combine these players really, really well. But it's quite disappointing that, you know, we're not really going to the Olympics with the under-23s. But yeah, it is what it is. And we're going to go over, of course, to our Bafana squad. They fortunately, by the skin of their teeth, we qualified for the Afcon that's taking place, of course, in Ivory Coast. And yeah, we scraped by, but luckily we will be there. Hopefully Coach Bruce will make some better decisions, guys, you know. As I said, mailula would have been nice to see him with the under-23s and have kodisang in there, you know. So hopefully we at the Afcon tournament we'll bring him in. He just helped his team qualify. I think he was involved in like 12 goals in the most recent game where they were crowned champions. Of course, he headed a goal, and he's South African. And as you said, South Africans, we're not really the tallest people around, but he's playing in Portugal, scored with a header, and helped his team win a 3-0 win over Lexuesis, I believe. Could be butchering the name for the Portuguese team, but oh wow, you know. So now they're going to be playing in the Premiership. Hopefully the team will try and like sign him down for another season. He does of course belong to Braga. Braga has been a difficult situation because they haven't really seen how to integrate him into the first team, but it's too good for the reserve team, you know. So it's great to see how he helped his team qualify, well, not necessarily qualify, but, you know, get promoted to the Premier League, and that's where we'll be seeing him play in the next season. And yeah, it's only up from there. Really, really talented player. Definitely, his pull-up has been long overdue. There's really no excuse for why kodisang is not there. So hopefully we'll be able to see him play there. We'll talk about, speaking of like players who help their team like qualify for the, well, not qualify, of course, get promoted to the Premiership. We're talking about lylefoster, who will be playing in the English Premiership next season. So he'll be playing against your Man Cities, your Liverpools, your Arsenals, and he's really high on confidence. Didn't really score too many goals. I think he only got like 1 assist and 1 goal in about 10 games for Burnley, but he did get signed like halfway through the season, and he was really trying to get like settled into the team, get integrated into the team, and try and see how everybody plays. So in the next season, hopefully he will get like a few more goals and we'll see a lot more of him. But he's also one player who will be like really high in confidence, and hopefully will bring the confidence into the Bafana squad, which he has. He scored, I believe, 2 goals the last time he played for Bafana. So he has said that he wants to make the position his own, and with the performances that he's been giving, I think he is like really en route to making that happen. And it'll be great to see what he does in the Premiership. And yo, that'll be great. Yo, I'm excited. I don't know about all of you, but I'm really excited to see him play against the biggest teams, especially because we lost Percy in the Premiership as well. And there are other players, of course, like your Mikhala Mayambela, who also fighting for promotion to the Premiership as well. Also really good player, and he's a forward, and all of these guys are forwards that we're talking about, by the way. So he's also trying to help his team get promoted. Pesitao as well helped his team in the CAF Champions League against Esperance the other day. Scored 2 goals, which was amazing, by the way. Has really become a talisman for his team, and it's great to see his form really coming back to the Pesitao that we know of old. And it'll be great to see him bring that form from Al Ahly, of course, into the Bafana team. So I think overall, you know, we're still going up. I think they just have a lot to prove, especially when it comes to the Bafana team. It's a bit shaky, but with the right players and with the material that we've been talking about, as you said, we've been integrating a lot of our European-based players. I think we will definitely have a great future lying ahead, especially if Safa does the job. Guys, Safa, please, you know, these guys have said they want to play for us, so it's up to you guys to do the job, please. What do we say in Venda? Michael, what do we say in Venda to say please? Niyakumbera, guys, please, you make the pass to happen. You know, we have a lot of material. All of these players are keen to fly the flag high, and all it is just for you guys to do the thing. So let's make that happen. So yeah, with the Bafana squad, good luck in the Afcon tournament. We're looking forward to seeing what you guys will bring to the table. And of course, we cannot end this conversation without talking about Banyana, which, guys, yo, you know, I feel like Banyana kind of actually forced us to rally behind them. With minimal resources, they've been able to consistently qualify for the World Cup, you know. And we can't talk about the biggest teams in Africa, especially when you're talking women's teams, without mentioning Banyana. So it's going to be great to see your Jermaine Sepesenos come in there. Of course, your Refilo James, who plays, of course, in Italy, coming into the fold. And it's great to see how they're going to measure up. I think the biggest test for them to see where they are in terms of footballing ability is to play at the World Cup, which they've been consistently doing. But that's where they see how good they are. Because in Africa, yes, we play well against Nigeria, we fare well against the North African teams. So it's great to see when we play against your Germanys now, your Americas, and the teams that are considered strong in the women's game, where we fare in that department. So it'll be great to see how they fare. Katana has just come back also from a long injury layoff. Came on as a substitute for her team in America as well. So it'll be great to see what she brings into the fold. Hopefully she'll get selected. I did see that they selected a few players, but I don't know if there's a possibility for her to get a league call-up. But her, Linda Matalo, they'll definitely be providing great service up front. Refilo Jane is always solid in the middle. You catch your Rama Lepes there, back at the back there. So it'll be great to see what kind of campaign they have in the World Cup. Good luck to those people. So Overall, our senior teams are going to the major tournaments, so that's good. If we're looking at our junior teams, we're going through a rebuilding process. Going through a rebuilding process. Hopefully, we can fix that up, and Safa, PSL, and everybody else on board gets onto the same page so that we can wrap this up. So, yeah, I think that will be a great thing for us going towards the future. But thank you so much for coming to today's episode. Thank you so much for tuning into today's episode of The Corner Flag, and I hope to see you in the next episode.